Oh, what a messy desk. We'll do that. Look, Mom and Dad are joining us. Yay. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear. All right. Hello, welcome, welcome. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty for a moment, but we're here and we're so happy you're here too. Let's do this. Check your sound. So if you can unmute yourself and just say hi, number one, and number two, tell us where you're coming in from. I know some of you are here to be support. So just tell me where you're from so that everybody knows. Dr. Longacre?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Dr. Longacre. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina.
Awesome.
Just finished A.C.E.S 2 weeks ago.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Dr. Burmester, where are you from?
Hi, everyone. I am originally from Star Valley, Wyoming, but I'm in school right now in St. Louis, Missouri.
Thanks for being here. Dr. Ragsdale, can you turn your camera on? There you go.
Hello, sorry, it's been a busy day, but I'm Dr. Sabrina Ragsdale and I'm in South Florida area, Wellington.
All right, thank you. So I'm so glad you guys are here. Dr. Garcia, where are you located right now? If you can unmute yourself. We might be having mute wars. Are you there? Try it one more time. It's not letting me unmute you. I'm not sure why. I know that Dr. Garcia is in Miami. And he's here. He spent a little time with us last week for Intro to Animal Chiropractic. And so we're grateful you guys all took a little time out of your day to be here. There may be some other people signing in as we go along because it's the middle of the day, right? So people are busy and at work and doing all kinds of things. Let's start with this. We're here especially to help doctors who want to be animal chiropractors, who've been waiting to get started with their animal chiropractic training, but maybe signing up has been that sort of, I'm a little bit scared to do it. There might be a little bit of, that's a big step, right? So let's go through, and what I would like each of my students to do is share just a little bit of how you felt right before you registered for class. Just unmute yourself and go for it.
Okay. I'll go first. So I thought about doing this program probably 6 months before I actually did it. Actually, I take that back, probably a little bit longer than that, because I initially saw it in school and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that yet, because school is a lot. And I was in the chiropractic program, and life gets ahead of you. You start getting into other things, you get into practice, and that gets a not to be a priority at the moment. But that fire of wanting to do it really was still there. And in 2022, I saw some of my friends go through the program, and it took me a while to kind of marinate on that. And then I reached out to one of my friends the end of last year and said, hey, what was your experience like? Because she's like, oh, I went to A.C.E.S and I had a great experience. And I had, and now I'm doing 2,000 to 4,000 a week on top of my human practice. And, and those are things I needed to hear, because I was a little bit hesitant too, because, step and getting away from practice and balancing life. I have 2 toddlers. Well, they're preschool age now, 3 and 5. I have a full-time practice, and sometimes the coordinating of getting out there to the labs were a little bit challenging, but they were very rewarding as well. When I finally decided I wanted to do this, there was no telling me no. I remember telling my husband in, I think it was January of this year, and I said, I have to do this. This is like, I knew this was like the next step I had to do in life. This is the next chapter. And I was not taking no for an answer. I said, we need to figure out how to pay for it. And so we decided that we paid in full. And so that way I wasn't having any kind of snags on my progress as well. And I just went for it. I went straight through. So I started the first module in February, beginning of February. I went to lab in April, went to lab 2 in May, and I just finished lab 3 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
And thank you. I am so glad that I did that, because as it's hard to coordinate, especially if anybody's in practice, and especially if they have a family. I know how much being away kind of can feel like a deterrent. And I have a great husband that would kind of hold the fort down while I was in Texas, and I had a great staff that's like, we got this, don't worry about it. They were also excited to incorporate in the office, and I made it a community type thing to get me trained and get me started, and starting to see animals. And it was great. It has been great for the last few months, being able to see them. It's a different demeanor that my patients see, and they start asking me like, oh, I saw a dog in here a little bit ago. Do you adjust dogs? And I'm like, of course I do. And then it turns into that I get another connection, and I see another dog. And it's just amazing to have that incorporated, because I have a big office. I have a 3,000 square foot office that I have plenty of room to have that. And I even have a special room inside my office that's geared only to animals, so they don't get caught up in the regular human traffic office. And some of them will come in and do their human appointments and then do their dog appointments at the same time.
Nice.
So
Well, thank you for that. That was the whole walkthrough, right?
yes.
Cool. Dr. Matea, you want to tell us a little bit about your experience when you registered? What did you do differently?
Yeah. So I always knew I wanted to pursue animal chiropractic early on in my education. But in chiropractic school, the first year and a half is crazy and you don't have time to think. But I did find the A.C.E.S program and instantly fell in love. You know, Dr. Amy, we had many phone calls talking to each other about what it entails, if it was possible for me to do it in chiropractic school, and how am I going to pay for this as a student? I don't really have an income. I thankfully was able to use my student loans to help me pay for it. So that's great. Also, the payment plans, that is a lifesaver. And I know you guys have financing or something like that. So you guys are actively helping. And I also got a scholarship as well. So they really worked with me because they know how great animal chiropractic is, and they really want people to get into the field. So I started last September. I was able to work through the module 1, and this past January, I was able to do the lab 1. And it was a really unique experience for myself because I was the only one there. I was the only one in this lab. So it was nerve-wracking at first because I'm like, all of this attention is on me and I'm a little nervous, but it was such an amazing experience getting that one-on-one with Dr. Amy, Dr. O, and learning all that information and making direct eye contact with them, making sure I know it. And then it was wonderful as well that I got to adjust all of those animals myself, and that great experience and knowledge that I was able to obtain. And I currently am working on lab 2. I have boards, so it's been pretty crazy. But I have personally been able to adjust an obscene amount of animals. Because I'm a student, I don't get paid legally. I can't yet, but just seeing the lives that have changed in these animals now, I'm so excited to get lab 2, lab 3 under my belt and be able to treat when I'm a doctor graduating. So that's super exciting. Also, we've had Dr. Amy talk at my school, and we've gained a lot of people interested in the A.C.E.S program as well. I have 4 or 5 that I've talked to that I've gotten them into the program. And so I'm super excited for that and just super excited for animal chiropractic and where it's going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many animals you adjusted that first lab?
I believe I adjusted around 20 animals and I got to adjust them full spine. So I got great experience.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Dr. Ragsdale, can you tell us a little bit about your onboarding experience with A.C.E.S? I know you haven't been to lab yet, but when you registered, how did that go?
Sorry, I'm in a loud area, but yeah, I was really nervous. I know you were asking like how it was taking that leap of faith. I have a pretty good group out here to learn from, but I was able to do the financing portion. So with that, it's like half of it was covered, and so I'm paying monthly to that, and then I just did the interest free, so paying it back as quick as I can. And hopefully by December everything will be covered anyways. So I'm pretty excited that there was even that option because I wouldn't have been able to do it. So
Well, yeah. So how hard was it to do that process?
it really wasn't hard. It was pretty simple. It was great. You just sign in and it checks to see like what they can credit you. So maybe somebody could get more covered. And then it covered 50%. So that was nice.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Dr. Garcia is a chiropractor in Miami. And tell us a little bit about why you want to do animal chiropractic.
Well, I'm originally from Venezuela, and I came to this country when I was like 20, and my first idea was to be a vet. And I went to school. I got a scholarship playing soccer, and I tried to get my grade very as high as possible. And and during the process, I went to a chiropractor. He helped me so much. I injured my sciatic pain. I had a sciatic pain constantly, and the chiropractor helped me so much that I changed my career. I want to become a chiropractor. And then told me at the same time my father had problem with his kidney, and taking medications and all the medicine that what it does is just injure your body. Little by little, I started learning, and little by the time I just falling in love with functional medicine and learning as much as possible about chiropractic. And now, over the years, I love German Shepherds and dogs, and I have 3 dogs of my own, and I know that they need chiropractic care, and I don't know how to do it. I'm like, the only thing I can do is push down a little. But I think over the year, I think I have patients overseas. They tell me that they have horses, and they were telling me little by little that the horses, when they see the chiropractor, little by little, I've been hearing more and more. And I went once to Life University, and first time I met somebody that told me about A.C.E.S. And looking at the website now, I'm kind of learning the process and see if I could become a chiropractor adjusting animals. It seems like I have a lot of information I want to, like here in the state of Florida. I know you mentioned, I talked to 2 of your students, and it's a kind of gray area. There is no much the law that say much about what we can do, what we cannot do. And honestly, I want to learn more about, I don't want to, learn this and then later on that they can tell me. I don't know, they say that sometimes the law can change from 1 year, always law can change here in the States. That's the only thing that worries me. Like, I like to, stay here in Florida. I don't like cold weather. And but I know how other states, do they have better law than here in Florida? I just that's the only thing that I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing, and not, especially I don't want to, if somebody later on to tell me, you did something bad for my dog or something like that. I'm kind of a little, and also I want to keep learning. Like I know as a vet, I was telling some of of the contact you told me, I want to learn. I do rehab on my office, and I know just the adjustment is great, but the rehab, can we keep learning, being a chiropractic, and we take other courses that the vet offer to rehab or to keep learning,
Help
not
them.
only be limited. That's one of the thing I'm worried.
So hold on a second. I'm going to ask Dr. Ragsdale because she's in a really unique position where she is. She's in Wellington. She's just north of you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And she's in a particularly special practice with some other chiropractors who have done some pretty interesting things to make their practice work. They have been up against the laws in Florida, and they have helped to kind of shape how the laws in Florida sit for chiropractors. And what happened was several chiropractors got letters and they went to the board and they contested it. And eventually they ended up, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they ended up paying a small fine. However, it didn't slow their practice down at all. And then they went back and they continued to work, and they literally just created a veterinarian for themselves who can funnel clients to them. And it's, even though you may not have children you can send to vet school, that doesn't mean you can't create the right veterinarian who can refer and funnel those clients to you. We've done it in multiple states where when we approach a veterinarian, we talk about how it's going to help them in their practice. And they don't have to take this class to do it, but it is a great way to help make your practice busier because it'll make their practice busier as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Dr. Ragsdale, you want to speak about that for a second?
Hello. So I am still learning a ton. I'm actually with Dr. Gnome right now, and he's listening in. So so some of this information is coming secondhand as well. But especially in the Miami area, he was saying that there's a big need for small animals. And one of the best things to do if you can get into a vet's clinic or clinics, multiple, and just like work a day there, right? And
solving problems.
Yeah, then you
just put him on the phone if he wants to talk.
Yeah. he's on his
Hi, I'm on.
Hey there.
How's it going? How are you,
just
Amy?
napping?
No, I'm on decompression, making sure my back stays healthy. No, so in Miami, small animal is, and all of South Florida, small animal is needed. There's, I think, one or two that I'm aware of. I've been referring to a vet in Delray who does small animals every time I got a referral from the A.C.E.S website. So the best thing to do if that is just go work in a vet clinic and you have the referral funnel and the observation needed from them. In the horse world right now, all my referrals come from vets. So all the vets are aware that I'm working on their clients' horses, and that covers you for anything. Wendy and Dave did get taken to the board. It did cost them a lot of money. I think it was more legal fees than fines. But now the Florida Chiropractic Association has speakers talking about working on horses, and so it's a whole different world here now. And I think partially because Wendy and Dave did carve the way for that, and so I work observation is very loose here in Wellington. There's no time for the vets to come and watch me work, but I see them, I talk to them, I know all the vets in the area. They all know who I am. They refer clients. Like the vets here are open to it as long as you prove that you're not going to hurt the horses and you're knowledgeable and you're respectful of your scope of practice, you'll have no problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chunky. Awesome.
No problem.
Thank you. So the next step in today's meeting, because I don't want to keep you all here all day, is to walk through the registration process. Are you ready, Dr. Garcia? These people are all here how many of you say, do it now? How many of you would wait? All right, we're just going to walk through how to register for the class. So while you're all here, I'm going to share my screen. And it literally is this simple. So I'm on the A.C.E.S website. And all we need to do is go to shop and then click Animal Chiropractic 101. And there will be a point where I can't finish it because it won't let me sign up for my own class. And we're just going to walk down here to click here to sign up. And it will take me to my cart. So now what the website has done is it's put Animal Chiropractic 101 in my cart. And I want to click add to my cart. So add that. And then here's my cart. We're going to view the cart. And this is what my cart looks like. All right. And you can see here that there are 3 buttons for payment choices. There's checkout, PayPal checkout, or pay later. Each of those buttons does something slightly different. If I were going to make, like Dr. Longacre did, a full payment, I would click the PayPal checkout and it would take me instantly to a PayPal link where I could just make the full payment. If I want to go through the Affirm financing, I'm going to click checkout. And what checkout's going to do, now you'll notice I didn't, on the first page, go to the see what Affirm will give me. There's a reason for that. If I've already put the product in my cart, Affirm is much more likely to finance my whole fee. So now you'll see at the top of my page, I have PayPal checkout, pay later, which is like the Affirm payment. It's a offer for a payment plan. And Venmo checkout, which again, like the PayPal checkout, is pay in full. All right. You would put in your customer details and then it won't let me do this if I don't put in something. And then click continue. So I'm going to put in some details. I guess I could put in my actual address. Right. So this is what you would do, is just put in your name and email address and address, and then click continue. And it's going to take me to this checkout page. All right. I know this seems like a lot of steps. And after I get there, it wants me to confirm everything and then continue. Now you'll see that I have 3 payment options. I can pay with a credit card, I can pay with Affirm, or I can pay with PayPal. And this is where I would click Affirm. And after that, it will send me to a page. I think I've been through this whole thing, but it won't let me buy my own product. I agree to the terms and conditions, and then I place the order and pay. See how that works?
Yep.
When you go through it that way, we have had students have the success of Affirm paying their entire bill, paid it all up front. And that made it really easy for them, because then, like Dr. Ragsdale, they can make small monthly payments which gives them 0% interest financing. For some of them, and it depends on your credit score and things like that, for some of them, they might incur a small percentage of fee for those. And we have one student who he booked his out for 2 whole years. So he paid his tuition in full, which means he can just rock and roll through the school. But he's going to be paying for his tuition for 2 years, small pieces at a time, less than, I think it's about $600 a month. Not even. It's probably $300 a month. So you can see there are different, they give you lots of different choices to make those payments. Dr. Ragsdale, are your payments monthly and they've already started?
Sorry. My payments start July 1st.
Okay, so you had so you had a window that you didn't have to make payments through.
Right. And there were also other options. I just chose the one that I did just to try and pay it back quicker.
Okay, good for you. And just so you know, she's got some big plans. She's going to be here for Lab 1 and Lab 2 in July because her goal is to finish by August so she can take the A.C.E.S exam this year. We've got a couple other people who are in the pipeline and want to get started with class, but they haven't registered yet. But they would like to do Lab 1 and Lab 2 in July and then Lab 3 in August and take the A.C.E.S exam. What would you say to them? What would you tell them that they should do?
I would say that I would start now because there is a lot, and like it doesn't matter. Sometimes like I've been watching things and I'll go back to Dr. Noem and I'm like, Dr. Noem, like I don't understand this because we know chiropractic, but we don't necessarily know like the animal side. There are little nuances and differences. So like the quicker you get started, the better you learn the language. And so that's kind of what I've noticed so far. But I mean, I'm still at the beginning. I'm just starting module 2.
Yeah, good. And it takes a little bit of time. I mean, it really is like learning a new language. So it's like any profession, there will be some things in it that, you know, if I was going to be a plumber, I would have to learn some things. If you want to be in construction, you have to learn that a board is not just a board, depending on where it's located. It could be a stud or a joist or all those kinds of things. So yeah, pretty easy. Dr. Garcia, are you ready to get registered?
I'll have to keep thinking about it, you know, to tell you the truth. If not this year, will be next year to do the test in September. Because yeah, a few things, a few projects that I just have to be 100% to jump in.
Okay.
Maybe, you know, see how. Yeah, I have to learn so much. You know, I have no idea about this a week ago, so I have to do my work and see how it is. So I learn a little more about it.
All right. Well, it sounds like from what Dr. Noem said, there will be no worry about finding patients where you are.
Yes, yeah. It's a lot of. Everybody here around this area have a lot of dogs, and it's just unbelievable. So many people, and so when you work, the only question is when you work with them in a vet office, are they paying you a salary, or you have an independent company within their vet? You know, can they pay you?
That's a good question, and it's a question. It's a question we usually cover in Lab 1.
Yeah, okay.
But it is one that what we tell veterinary chiropractors is this: when you go to a veterinarian's office to do animal chiropractic, there are different ways to set it up. One, you can charge each client, or what we usually recommend is allow the veterinarian's receptionist to set up your appointments, make sure they're grouped together really close, and let them charge what they want to charge, as long as it's within a minimum of what you expect. and they get to keep 25% and you get 75% of the income. Because they have to keep the lights on and pay their employee to make the appointment and give you a space to do it in.
I see. Okay.
So, and that's pretty fair. So as an example, Dr. Burmester said she's adjusted a ton of animals and she hasn't really charged for them yet. But if you had, let's say you charged $100 a
I'm sorry. With that, can you repeat that one more time? The percentage?
yeah. So if you're going to work in a veterinarian's office, and you'll learn this in a couple weeks, what you're going to go into them with is you're going to have a minimum that they need to charge their client. They can set up the appointments. The important thing is keep your window small. Don't be there all day. So I'll be here at the office from, I don't know, 9 until 11. And you can cram as many animals in that space as you want, because veterinarians are used to scheduling people once every hour, once every half hour, long spaces in between. And it takes time for them to understand that they can have appointment slots every 10 minutes. So let them all come at the same time. Who cares? Because you're going to get them out of there so fast. You can do 10 dogs in an hour. And so you're going to have a minimum that you charge. You're going to let them know this is the minimum. And they can charge whatever they want. When they get done, they're going to pay you 75% of the total income for what they made that day.
Okay.
So if you, let's say you were there from 9 until that's 2 hours, you can see 10 dogs in an hour. That's 20 dogs at a minimum of $100 a dog. That's $2,000. So 75% of that, they're going to pay you and they're going to keep the other part. So you just made them, I have to do this math with a calculator because you should never do math on stage.
$500.
Yeah, they're going to keep $500 just for letting you use a room. What vet wouldn't want that? Do you know how long it takes them to make $500? Takes them a long time. Even though you might take your dog in and it costs you $500, they've had to pay for the drugs, they had to pay the technician, they had to, you know, they had to get the x-ray machine out, they had to do a bunch of things before that $500 fee came into play. But if all they have to do is let you use a room for 2 hours to make $500, that is a no-brainer. That is a win-win situation for you and for them. And when you go in there, what you're going to ask them for, you're not going to go to educate them about animal chiropractic because they've already been through a lot of school, just like you have. What you're going to do is go in and let them know that you are there to help them have a better day. You're going to take their worst cases, they're going to take their worst clients, and you're going to help make them happy. Everybody understand that? Right? Veterinarians have the highest suicide rate of any profession out there because they're working on things that people love, and sometimes they die because of the neglect or because the owner doesn't understand and they don't come in until the last minute. I'm going to bet that the horses that you guys see in Wellington, you're seeing on a routine basis. You see them every month or once a week or sometimes twice, whatever.
Some of those horses get better treatment than most people.
Well, I know. Most of them don't look like they've ever taken a shit because their stall is that clean.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. So keep that in mind. And, the veterinarians in Wellington they don't get any sleep. They don't get any rest during show season. It's busy. They are so happy for you guys to be there seeing those horses in between their visits, because it helps them to be notified, hey, something's happening. This is coming up. And so that, and there's so many horses there. It's ridiculous. It was busy when I lived there 20 years ago. It's worse now. I can't imagine. So, that helpful, Dr. Garcia?
Yes, yes, yes.
So if you walked into a vet's office and said, I'd like to give you $500 for doing nothing, almost nothing, what do you
Yeah.
suppose they'd say?
Yeah.
It's not hard to do. This is really not that hard to do. It's so easy because you're really there to serve people. You're really there to help more animals and more people. And it literally is just a ripple effect. You help that one animal, it's going to help their owner be nicer to the vet. It's going to help the vet have a better day. It's going to help the vet be more on their A game for their other clients. It's such a win-win situation.
Yeah. Most of, because I was looking online, like when people look for vet that want to do, they're looking for a specific rehab veterinarian that are into rehab, or just any vet.
No, I'm going to tell you
Because
this. Veterinary rehabilitation is a waste of money and time.
Okay.
Because veterinary rehabilitation is really about the equipment that they buy. You got to have an underwater treadmill. You got to have, all these other pieces of equipment. You can rehab an animal. You can rehab it at home. So, yeah.
Okay.
So don't feel like you have to look for that. You just want to go help the vets that are closest to you. Somebody who's a mile down the road.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay, I'm gonna start asking around to see. Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah. So you're just gonna walk in and say, how would you like to make an extra $500 today for doing nothing?
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Now, thank you for that explanation. Yes,
Awesome.
I think it sounds like and I will be under. I'll be under the care of, under supervision, direct supervision. Won't be any problem, legal problem at all.
Absolutely.
And then, so they asked for, they asked that, you took the test, and that will be, so I have to take
The
the
honest
test.
truth is, in Florida,
Mhm.
you don't have to have taken a test. You could go do it today, but what are your results going to be, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you have a good reputation. And
Okay.
after lab 1, how many of you knew enough to adjust animals after lab 1? Absolutely. You're going to be able to show the vet what you're going to do. You're going to be able to show them how it works. You're going to be able to show the animal owner when they need to come back after lab 1.
Okay. Sound like a plan.
Right. Thanks
Yes,
for being here. Thank you, everybody else, for being here. This has been recorded, so there will be a replay available. If you have friends, doctors who are interested in Animal Chiropractic 101 and have a little hesitation about getting registered, and if they want to register without using their own money, this is the way to do it. Get online, go through the Affirm financing, and for most people, it's going to take you straight through. All right. If you've got a job, if you've got a regular income, you're not going to have too much trouble with it. All right. Thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you.
Any final questions? Final comments? Big wins of the day? Anybody have a big win to share?
I spent the day in the barns and learning and just watching the different soft tissue, but watching just all the different motions and stuff. So it was really fun. And I'm just excited to transition, not have to deal with insurance.
Oh, awesome.
I'm
Other
seeing
big wins? Go ahead.
I'm seeing some new dog patients this coming week. I've made some new connections this week as well. So I'm hoping to get a little bit into more dog training. I have some connections with that, that they're wanting to hear more about what I do in my office. We're about to put our dogs through some training, and it was kind of opportune that way to put that in as well. And we have some connections with some barns that we're hoping to get into as well.
Anybody else have a big win? No? Small wins? Anything. We'll take small wins.
I'd say that I had a friend, she actually is going into the A.C.E.S program, but she hasn't been to lab yet, so she doesn't know how to adjust animals yet. And she just FaceTimed me. She's a fellow chiropractor, and so she just FaceTimed me, and I helped lead her through adjusting her dog. He had a pretty bad limp when she got home, and she was super nervous. I just guided her through the adjustment, and then 15 minutes later, her dog was completely normal. So that was a win, I guess.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys all for joining me. And we look forward to new students when they get started, because we're here to support you and keep you moving forward. And you can see that. So there's an African saying, and it's, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others.
Nice.
And one of the important things is to make sure that you begin to build that community of animal chiropractors, because when you get the training, you won't even be able to talk to other chiropractors the same way, because the language is different, and your vitality for life is different, and the way you even see your human patients is different. Anybody agree?
I
Everybody
agree. I completely. I explained this to other chiropractors, and then I've seen their dogs too after that, because it's completely different. And I will say I adjust different for even humans with a little bit more renewed chiropractic attitude. Because I mean, I had a lot of philosophy in school, and sometimes it's good to see that kind of get rejuvenated a bit, because we're out in practice. We don't get that always fed to us. And I would say, like, being at labs, seeing how highly how it was very chiropractically based, and a lot of the philosophy that I learned in school, that you incorporated that in. And that was really helpful for not only adjusting animals, but also with humans as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks you guys for being here. We're going to sign off so that you guys can get back to your rest of your week, rest of your day. I appreciate the time you've taken, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, Dr. Garcia.